Welcome back to our Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are here to talk about the latest around Arsenal and the biggest debates about the club as well. I'm joined by a big Arsenal fan in the house, Vincent.
Of course, I must greet you all. Welcome to our podcast stories. I've been watching Cossy for a very good period of time, so I'm very excited to be here. Finally, I'm home.
Absolutely. Before we get into it, he's a guy that really does not believe Kai Havertz will turn it around at Arsenal. And of course, Leandro Trossard is not happy at the club. We're going to be diving into whether Kai Havertz should be starting over Leandro Trossard. The Champions League preview. We are back in the UCL after 6 years. Can we go any further than the quarterfinals, or probably the round of 16? That is where Arsenal really stopped under Arsene Wenger. And of course, the striker debate. We need goals eventually. Phase 5 is incoming. Mikel Arteta wants at least one more striker. What is the name of that striker? Who is going to be the next big signing at Arsenal in the centre forward positions? All that in this one. Hit the like button. Share with me your thoughts in the comment box below. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the Leandro Trossard one. It's one that actually triggers many Arsenal fans because Kai Havertz is starting. The results are not yet coming, and we are seeing a kind of ripple effect where Trossard is unhappy. Emile Smith-Rowe almost left Arsenal. In this last summer, Chelsea were requesting for his signature, but later they signed Cole Palmer. Arsenal said he was untouchable, or Arsenal really didn't prefer to sell to a rival, we should say. Let's start there. Leandro Trossard, is he really is he right to be unhappy with Mikel Arteta right now?
Absolutely. I think even personally, I would be unhappy with Mikel Arteta. You know that. For me, okay, I can tell that Kai Havertz is a talented boy.
The talent is undisputed.
The talent is there.
Yeah, undisputed.
But the contribution towards Arsenal,
it's not yet there.
Our team does not literally benefiting a lot, but we would have been benefiting from him.
Sure.
I mean, it would take me someone who can explain very well to understand what Kai Havertz is actually contributing to the team.
I'm that person.
I believe you will, because for me, you know my stand already. I made it clear to you. I feel like it was a mistake Arsenal to sign someone like Kai Havertz. I believe that money would have been invested somewhere. Actually, I was telling you, I was like, maybe, I know they are not the same numbers, but bringing Kai Havertz, I would rather bring Sancho from United. Because
they told me about that, and I was a little bit unhappy because I feel like Jadon Sancho is a player that has proven to be kind of lazy at Man United. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's not done enough to deserve the minutes.
No. I don't want to go into United's story. But of course, you know what happens at United. Normally, talented players tend to fail to perform. I don't know why. You've had the likes of Angel Di Maria. You've seen the likes of Sancho himself.
Well,
You can talk about
Memphis
the
Depay,
Falcao, the
Falcao,
Depay, and all other, the Adnan Januzaj.
Yeah.
All those people have failed to deliver at United. So maybe the problem is bigger there, that side. Even if we talk about the Anthony has not been delivering at United the way he used to at Ajax. So, but if you're going to convince me how I should give my 90 minutes or 85 minutes to Kai Havertz, you must be able to illustrate
exactly what he does.
Exactly what he does. Because me as an Arsenal fan, I believe Kai Havertz is proving to be more of a liability
rather than
yes, exactly. I don't know. Just that we are unlucky that we cannot illustrate. Maybe with the time, I'll show you with our fans why I believe Havertz is now a liability. Look, our system, always we have the front. You'll find there Bukayo Saka, you find Martin Odegaard, you find Kai Havertz now, you will find Martinelli the other side. And then either we shall have Eddie Nketiah or Jesus. My problem is, whenever we are having these two on the pitch, if you're having Odegaard and then the lazy Kai Havertz, I say lazy with an emphasis because this guy doesn't add when we lose the ball. He's not going to help you. It's like a modification of Ozil, of which Ozil was so talented that he could do tangible things, however much he was lazy. But here, what he does, what happens normally is that we are going to see Kai Havertz, Odegaard, moving towards the side of Bukayo Saka.
Yeah,
So
true.
literally they are occupying one number two people. What happened? You know what can happen. They are always conflicting
congestion,
together,
yeah,
and the
congestion on the right-hand
congestion.
side.
And then this space is created for Kai Havertz, who
run
has
into.
failed to deliver. That's when I would join my fellows outside there, the Arsenal fans, to demand for Trossard. At least Trossard has been proven.
Yeah, true.
He had.
Well, there are 2 points here, and the first one is Trossard was our best player in preseason. However much I really believe in Kai Havertz, so however much I really understand the role of a Rome data and how much I love it because I love Thomas Muller very much, I think Trossard has been our best player in preseason. He's been magnificent, and ever since signing for us, it's a pity that he has not proven to the manager yet that he should be starting, because he has. 10 assists last campaign when he came in. Preseason, he was absolutely wonderful. I could, if it's about the other players outside Kai Havertz, there is a point. If it's about Kai Havertz as a player, I think he will demand more time. He will need more time. I don't think all the signings that we brought in under Mikel Arteta came around at the same time. So you look at Ben White and his first campaign at Arsenal before William Saliba coming back. Then you look at his campaign last season when Saliba was in the defense and he played right back. Magnificent, fantastic. He was even called up for the squad for the World Cup, right? There's that, increase. Then you look at Ramsdale, much better as well. You look at Fabio Vieira this season compared to last season, right? Fabio Vieira is a player that really was, I think the word is uninspiring. Right?
You're talking about Fabio.
Yeah.
But personally, I believe Fabio have been improving over time.
Yeah,
but
he has,
not
yeah.
from the pitch.
Yeah, he has improved, over time.
I believe, actually, I can say one of my guys was saying this guy is transforming magically.
Yeah, true.
Because
true.
it is not that he's having a lot of time on pitch.
Yeah.
It is not true.
Yeah, actually,
but,
it's one of those players that are working so much off the pitch, and then when they come on the pitch, they're just much better.
I believe it could be like that for Havertz. If you say that we need a lot of time for him, maybe it could be like get some 35 minutes per game, and then we see how to include. But we need to involve the likes of Smith, the likes of Leandro Trossard, because they are proven. At the end of the time, what we need right now, they are the wins.
Yeah,
we
sure.
need the goals. We won against United last weekend, and everyone was happy, me inclusive. But I was not happy. Okay, there are 2 moments where I saw Havertz coming in. One, it was that denied the penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, of which
Actually is a very brilliant run of Inkett, yeah?
It was, and that one, there is no doubt.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
But it was still average.
Yeah, it was average. But one thing we've got to understand here, and we've got to agree upon, I've always told people on this channel, and all of you have actually disagreed with me. I've already said that his role is right into spaces that have been left behind by Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, and Eddie Nketiah. We've seen that. At least that is a clear example of him doing that. As Eddie pulls out and then plays that ball back into space, Kai is running onto it.
I may partially agree with you still, because the rate at which we lose the ball, just in case it is not Odegaard, Saka or Martinelli having the ball, always Arsenal is losing possession,
Yes, true,
which means
true.
his role is still partially done.
Yeah,
but
true.
we should be thinking about the bigger picture of looking at Arsenal being offensive fully than having someone who is thinking about or maybe covering the space you're talking about.
True.
Because I believe the likes of Trossard is someone I know who doesn't just lose the ball like that.
True.
And the best way of defending is always having the ball. We don't need the spaces. We just need to focus on how we are going to maybe to maintain the possession all the time. Trossard can give you that. Let me give you an example of United's goal, the one he failed to
they missed.
Actually, he missed. I don't know how, because I saw it was typical of his goals. From the preseason, I saw the first goal scored in our jersey. It looked so brilliant. So actually, I just stood and I was like, wow, it is done. But it was a disappointment.
Yeah, he missed it.
But of course, we can forgive him. Soccer is soccer. But the point is that such goals and such chances could not be missed by the likes of Trossard.
Yeah, Trossard. I mean, we've got to ask. We've got to talk about the confidence levels of Kai, right? Trossard doesn't miss that, and he would score that goal 100 times out of 100 because he's very confident. And you look at the Trossard, Arsenal brought in a much confident player, a really impactful player at Brighton. He was their best player. He was Brighton. When you thought about Brighton, when you dreamt about Brighton, you dreamt about Leandro Trossard.
Exactly.
So if Kai Havertz then is the opposite of Trossard, it means that he's going to have low confidence levels. He was literally at a struggling side in Chelsea. They finished 12th. Like, that is one of the worst runs Chelsea have had in the in the last 20 years. And then we're talking about a Kai Havertz who has been playing out of position as a centre forward, like for 2 good seasons. So, do you think his confidence is going to take some time to come around?
It's true. It might take some good time, but do we have that luxury of time to wait for his confidence to come back?
Well, that's a big
that
question.
That would be
then.
the question.
Yeah.
Because the likes of Trossard, the only bit as to why I would advocate for Trossard or Smith Rowe more than I would do to for Havertz is that Trossard is going to be impactful.
Yeah,
impactful.
True.
Okay, I can understand the Arteta brought the player, and no doubt he's very talented. Yeah. Everyone can see that. But at least if there could be a balance, maybe you give some 45 minutes to Trossard or Smith Rowe, and then you leave the remaining minutes for Havertz, because I believe Arteta is a very smart man.
Yeah, he is. No question about that.
He must be thinking about Havertz, who is unique from the one we are seeing today. Yeah. But the one we are having today is more of a liability to the team
not
than
yet.
He's
not yet there.
He's see, just to think about the previous matches before the United game. That was Fulham,
Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace and was it Fulham?
Forest.
Yeah, Forest and Fulham. So this guy actually almost costed us on Nottingham because literally in defending, he will not add a thing. Going in front, he's not that. I don't know. I think the question of confidence will come in, but still, he's too weak. Looks less on the pitch. I feel like we need someone who can ignite the front,
the attack.
Yes, and we need to be sharp.
So we have around 4 options here. We have Leandro Trossard, by the way, who is like the real topic of this conversation, unhappy. You have Fabio Vieira, who has really done well ever since coming.
Who's hot.
You have Emile Smith Rowe, who's for some reason Mikel Arteta has just locked him in a jail cell.
No. For Smith Rowe is a big guy.
He is a big guy. Yeah.
He's part of the family, and I believe he must stay. That boy showed his potential with under 21 for England. So I believe we need such talents. I know with the time, you never know in one season or even before that one season, he might explode into something we don't know. So I see him as the likes of Looney. I'm seeing him like that. Yeah, he's a big guy to come.
So with all these options available, who is the best candidate to play alongside Rice, Martinelli on the left-hand side, in that pocket of space where Kai is, where Xhaka played last campaign? Who is the best candidate?
It must be Leandro Trossard.
He's played there for Belgium. I was watching Belgium. Belgium played North Macedonia. They won that game, I think 1-0. They were away from him. I just don't remember the nation they played. He played left central midfield, exactly there. And one of the things I saw about him, he's got that ability to play typically as a midfielder, but then he's got a big goal threat. Like, he's not your everyday midfielder, but he has a big goal threat. And that's what Mikel Arteta wants there. But he doesn't have the aerial ability. You would get a player from like Kai Havertz, and he doesn't have that seamlessly easy run into the penalty area, again, like a player like Kai Havertz.
I like the way you guys talk about the aerial balls and all that. But I think, I mean, Arsenal, if they wanted someone who can maybe be in charge of the aerial balls, they wouldn't have brought Julian Timber. Timber is too short. But I mean, Trossard's control on the ball and his game reading is enough to cover up for the height. You get? So we can
serve player. I mean, you add him to that attack of Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. That's a really short average height.
No. I believe this guy's. I believe God was just a clever guy. He will give you someone who is short, but you have the brain of reading.
Yeah, true.
You can understand, you have control over the ball. Don't you be surprised sometimes to see that the likes of short people like Jesus can actually win heading balls.
True.
Eddie
I've seen him do that
he's not the
before,
best
sometimes.
striker and we need one.
Yeah.
But the control over the ball,
Yeah.
he can actually receive those balls from free goal kicks and all that very well. And I think this is something Trossard can execute without even aerial balls. Because even, I don't know, I need to be convinced. How many times have you seen covers heading a shot from the goalkeeper?
Well, at Arsenal, I'm really surprised at Arsenal because I've not seen the involvement in on the headers. But at least at Chelsea, he scored 19 goals for them. 9 of them were headers. So there is something in there. There is something that in that style. At Arsenal, I'm not really sure why we've not seen that. We've not seen the involvement with his aerial ability yet.
No. The only difference between Arsenal and Chelsea, I think it's the nature of the games we have.
Sure.
Our system at Arsenal is way different from that of Chelsea. Yeah. You can get always as Chelsea, for them they will execute maybe the wing play. For us it is involvement. That's what I love about Arsenal. It's always the way we move our ball fast.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to have a share of it before it is being served in the net of the opponent. So exactly that's what we need right now. Because even if it is like that, Arsenal is not good. That kind of United or that kind of I don't know. Brighton is also improving nowadays.
Yeah.
But the likes of those clubs that will execute whatever they are going to do through counter-attacks and aerial balls, it is not like that. That's why we had almost 9. Were they around over 14 corner kicks from United? We netted 9.
And is it an area we've got to improve on? And maybe is it a reason why Mikel insists on Kai Havertz? Because aerially, we are one of the worst teams in the Premier League, converting aerial balls. We do win aerial balls at times, but we don't actually convert. We rarely convert. It's not a strength. And if you're going to play on Europe, if you're going to be a top team, you look at the dominant Madrid. They could score a header with Ronaldo. They could score a header with Sergio Ramos. They could score a header with Pepe. They could then score these easy goals with Modric, Ozil, and the other players. I think he's trying to create that balance. He's talked about it before in a press conference, and he said, "You look at Xhaka out. He's gone with the physicality. We've got to find physicality. We've got to find that aerial threat, that aerial ability. And you cannot just play all the players same height and all the metrics are the same. Why? Because you want to find the balance. Do you think he's trying to find the balance?
My question is, you've been talking about Granit Xhaka, the likes of Xhaka. Xhaka is known for 3 things. One, he's a very aggressive man.
Very aggressive.
Very strong.
Yeah.
And then being short-tempered. Of course.
Yeah.
But
an elite passer of the ball.
Kai Havertz shares nothing from Granit Xhaka, with an exception of maybe passing the ball.
Yeah.
So you see, he's not the perfect replacement for Granit Xhaka. That one is very evident.
Yeah.
He's not. As on what we shall need to improve on that. But one time I was reading at this guy, Johan Cruyff. Johan Cruyff once wrote, and it was like, if you find yourself short of something, you need to just use your strength, maybe to substitute the weakness you have.
Yeah, true.
I believe if we have people that they're just looking up to scoring all the time and adding to the team and adding to the way we are delivering the ball into the opponent's box, we'll need people like Trossard. They are goal-minded, they are attack-minded, and then we shall need maybe on some matches a combination of Partey and Rice can give a cover-up for a midfield. You never know, it may work, because I don't believe even the way Partey starts in the left. Is it left back? Yeah. I don't like it. So
it's right back actually.
It's right. I don't like that too. Yeah. So I believe if we could get a combination of maybe Partey coming in the midfield with Declan Rice, they can give a perfect cover than having a lazy Kai Havertz playing there. I believe Havertz, we need him. He's not a bad player, but we'll need him to first learn or to practice what he's trying to deliver for us to perfection, because we are chasing the trophy. I cannot see the likes of Man City going away because we are still holding on to someone
Yeah,
to deliver.
sure.
I hear how many matches. We don't have that luxury.
Mikel
of
said
time.
88 matches, and he gave us a very good statement. He said it took him time to lock his wife down. It took him time. He saw his wife. He panicked a little bit. He fell in love, but he panicked. So he actually took some time to talk to his wife, message her. She was a little bit hard, and eventually they have kids. So give Kai Havertz time. The debate is on, guys. Is Kai Havertz, is it time for him to drop? Is Leandro Trossard, the one to replace him? He's unhappy at Arsenal at the moment because Mikel Arteta is actually not choosing him.
We may not drop him completely.
Yeah.
But what we can do, it is reducing on the number, the minutes spent on the pitch.
True.
And maybe can have the first half.
I'm for that.
Or the second half.
I am one for squad depth usage. It doesn't make sense for us to have a lot of squad depth if we can't use it. So I'm one for that.
If we could do that, maybe we can give him some allowance of a few matches, but we cannot wait for 85 matches. I mean, my girlfriend, I convinced her in one day. So if Arteta, it took Arteta
88 days.
Exactly.
That's a lot of time. A lot of time.
It took me one day to convince mine.
There's a difference. It's your girlfriend. It's Arteta's wife. So the status is different, right? It's a huge difference in context. Okay, we are back in the UEFA Champions League, guys, and we're going to be diving into the preview. What is the nature of the Champions League these days? It's a decade later, plus 1 year, since we've been there. And I'm going to ask Vincent, because he's watched the UEFA Champions League, and he's been there, he's watched these games. What are Arsenal walking into? What's the nature of the UCL for the past 6 years? Is it more quality than when we were there? Is it a decline in quality in the general competition?
We are entering the Champions League, I think, at a very right time.
Okay.
That's nice. The competition is still there, but it is not that tight. I mean, I'm talking about Bayern Munich of today.
Yeah.
Not
Bayern Munich of
Liverpool and Robben.
Yeah, I know.
I'm talking about Barcelona
of today.
Not Barcelona of Messi, Suarez, and
Neymar and
I'm talking about PSG
of today.
PSG without Messi, PSG without
Neymar, without Sergio Ramos, without all these big boys.
I'm talking about Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Madrid without the likes
Karim
of
Benzema is gone, Cristiano is gone, Sergio Ramos is gone, Casillas is gone.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I believe we are entering at the right time. Actually, I feel like it is going to be more of Premier League extension.
Okay.
Because right now I think the most fierce club is Manchester City.
Manchester City in the competition.
It is very hot and all that. And I believe that will come in later on. So Arsenal has no reason today. They will have no reasons to tell us as to why they did not proceed up to the semi-finals.
So let's get to the expectations. Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. Premier League, last campaign we were second, did very well. The football was fluid, the football was good, and everyone said being back in the UEFA Champions League, that is the quality of football you've got to maintain. What are our expectations in the UEFA Champions League? It's the last version of the UEFA Champions League as we know it, and then we'll go to a new version which will include some kind of table form and all that. So for me, it's the simpler version of the Champions League. Four of you in a group stage setting, round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then the final. What are your expectations of Arsenal? Do we win it? Do we go to the semis? Is just quarterfinals enough?
The least Arsenal can do,
or should
the least Arsenal is going to do, actually, it is being on a semi-final. Semi-finals, the least.
That is one. If you play the semi-finals, both legs, it means you're one game away from
the final.
From
winning it. Yeah.
So you're saying Arsenal will be one game away from winning the Champions League.
That is the worst Arsenal is going to do, unless we are not serious. I tell you, with the squad we have, if it is well managed and everything, Arsenal has everything it takes to win Champions League. This group stage, we have Sevilla.
Exactly.
We have Sevilla. At least you can get 4 points of Sevilla.
Because I want us to do some kind of a preview on our group. PSV, Sevilla, and Lens, right?
Okay.
Who is the team to beat there?
4 points from Sevilla.
3 at home, 1 in Spain.
Yeah.
Right? I'll write that down.
6 points from PSV.
We should beat PSV on home and away.
Home and away.
It's very difficult to travel to the Netherlands at exactly 8 p.m. and walk away with 3 points. You know that. Because even last season in the Europa League, at our best, a season where we really played well, we didn't walk away with 3 points.
That's what
Netherlands.
we must do today.
6.
Yes.
Lons?
I can say
France? I don't think France is a hard place to
it is
travel
not.
to, by
It
the way.
is not. It's not really. Okay. At least 4. At least.
At least 4 points
At
from
least
Lons.
4 points.
That is a total of 14 points.
40 points.
Out of 18? Out of possible 18?
Yeah, exactly.
Out of
And
possible 18.
I believe this is very, very, very possible. Arsenal can do it, and it is doable. I think we have them. It is a very friendly. I don't know whether these guys were just welcoming us back to the Champions League. I don't know, but we have a very friendly group.
Yeah. I think the scare with this group is the level of opponents. So you look at Lons, they are kind of out of place. So I really feel pity for them. I think everyone will try to get maximum points out of them. But then you look at Sevilla, they're champions of the Europa League 6 times in the last decade almost, right?
Europa
League, yes. But that is Europe still, and their pedigree on European soil stays, right? Then you look at PSV. They're not a huge threat in terms of winning silverware and going further in competitions, but they've always been there. They're just like Ajax. They know this stage. They know Europe. It's what they eat. It's what they feed. It's Europe. They breathe Europe, right? So could it be that Arsenal will find a little bit of, PSV and Sevilla had nuts to crack because they have been on this stage for quite some time, especially during that time that we've not been there.
Someone told me you rather meet Bayern Munich in the Champions League than meeting Sevilla in Europa.
I mean, they have a point. They have a point because
in Europa, in UEFA,
Yeah,
so
Europa,
I believe it will be. Of course, it is football. Everything is possible in a game. By the end of 90 minutes, nowadays we have almost
100 minutes
plus.
Ridiculous.
So by the end of that period of time, everything is possible. You can lose, you can win, you can actually wallop someone instead of just winning against.
Actually, the last 10 minutes of games these days are becoming very crucial. That you could get a point in the 90 minutes and just lose that point in a humiliating way. It could end 4-1 in the last 10.
Yeah. It has happened.
Yeah, it has happened. Man United
Last week.
Exactly. So Man United fans will feel like we are onto them. I'm not onto them. I'm just saying.
My point is, it is hard. Sevilla is not a very weak team.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it is not a very weak team. I know they are very organized, and it is not a club that is going to just sit behind and see
possess the ball. And
likewise, when it applies to PSV,
yeah.
they are also a ball-playing team. But in my view, and what I see, it is very possible that Arsenal may fail to win from Spain.
Yeah.
But this time around, we must win from I don't know, Emirates.
I think
against Sevilla.
At the Emirates Stadium, there's no excuse for Arsenal not to pick up maximum points. 9 points. 9 points. Maximum.
Exactly. So we are looking for only 4 points
away from home.
And we top the group.
Yeah, because again, it's very, very important. It's very important. But mentally, I mean, this could be a good group. I was actually terming it as group of death until I saw Newcastle, Dortmund, PSG, and just forgot the other one.
Milan.
I think Milan, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that is the group of death.
Exactly.
But
there is no question.
Yeah, our group is a hard one as well, right? If you just don't consider the status of Arsenal and consider how poorly we've been performing in the UEFA Champions League in recent years, we are almost at the same level of these clubs. But let's talk about the mentality and the mental block. First and foremost, Arsenal do not fail to qualify out of the group. Like, that is something over the years, it's unheard of. Man United have failed to qualify through their group. Chelsea have failed at some point in time. Arsenal have not, right? But the mental block is going to come in when we realize that 6 years is a long time without playing in that competition, and the nights are going to be different, and the travel time is going to be different, and the environment is going to be different. How do we deal with the mental block? As we try to deal with the mental block of not winning the Premier League for like 18 years now, which actually, led us to capitulation last campaign. How do we deal with this mental block?
I've seen Spurs progressing in the Champions League.
Yeah, that's a nice example. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. That's a nice one.
Tottenham playing very well
until the finals, actually.
It was until the finals.
Yeah, that's a nice
so
one. That's a nice
what
one.
I want to tell you is that, of course, it is not going to be that easy.
Yeah, it won't
like
be. Yeah.
we have the likes of Martinelli, no Champions League.
Yeah.
Saka, actually, very many
players have not featured.
From Ramsdale.
Ramsdale has not featured. Gabriel Magalhaes has not featured. Saliba has not featured.
Rice
has not featured.
Actually, we have Partey was there.
Partey was there. Ben White has not featured as well.
So, in simple terms, almost
90% of our
85% of the
squad has not been there.
Yeah, but remember, these guys are now looking up to everyone. I've been listening to their press conferences. Especially the new guys that have joined the Arsenal. They came to win.
Yeah, true.
That's the mentality.
True.
They believe Arsenal is going to win.
Yeah.
So exactly that's what we want to see on the pitch. Simple.
We want to win.
The mindset is about seeing Arsenal going higher and higher.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting. Of course, shocks beats there.
Yeah, of course.
You can be disappointed anytime.
Yeah.
But this time around, I'll be telling you. You'll be telling me.
Do you think we have the emotional and mental credit in the bank? Semi-finals, Allianz Arena, it was 1-0 at the Emirates. It is 1-1 at the Allianz Arena. Do you think we have the emotional capacity to see that game through? Do you think we would have it?
Exactly, we can. One, we have the likes of Partey. At least Partey has been there.
Yeah, he's been there.
Odegaard
has been there. Jorginho has been there as well. Yeah.
Odegaard has been there.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Zinchenko.
And Zinchenko is also there.
Yeah.
And of course, the Rice.
Rice is a champion.
The price and everything. Yeah. He feels like he must perform.
And then he's also won it. He's also won it in the Conference League. It might not be. It's a huge climb, but it's Europe. I mean,
of course.
Yeah.
So I feel like Saka was named of recent on Ballon d'Or list.
Yeah.
So
and Odegaard as well.
You can understand what I'm talking about. That these boys are actually demanding themselves to do it.
Yeah.
Either way, and Europe is no longer tough. The other days we could talk about the Sergio Ramos. I don't know. Right now, Arsenal can do it, even from Camp Nou.
Yeah, no, I mean you could go there because
Arsenal can do it from anywhere.
If we think about Barcelona not winning a single game of football against Bayern last season, that depicts the quality they have and the decline in the squad. If you think about them not actually winning a single game of football against Inter Milan in group stages last campaign and then ending up in the Europa League, I mean that shows the quality of the clubs in this competition. But let's talk about the money. Right. Let's talk about the money. We've talked about the quality. We've talked about the organic football that is gone. Do you think we have done enough to go toe-to-toe with the big money spenders? And when I say big money spenders, I mean clubs like Manchester City. I mean clubs like I don't think Madrid are big money spenders anymore. But what you look at what they've done over the years: Tchouaméni coming into 100, Bellingham coming into 100 million. So again, they're still big spenders, right? And then you think about all these other clubs, the Inter Milans, the Bayern Munich, who can just go 100 million on Kane. Do you think we've done enough to compete with those establishments?
You've been talking about money, and you've been mentioning Kane for 100. Don't know. You've been talking about the likes of Jude Bellingham,
100 as well.
100. And I've been I've been here thinking about Declan
Rice. I know.
105. I've been thinking about Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
has not yet delivered, but
65.
Almost 70 million.
Yeah,
so the question of money will come in, of course, with the big giants.
Yeah.
But the point is, it will zero down to the pitch, I believe. It will zero down to the pitch. Because who knows what can happen? Actually, the things we are talking about today, we are talking about what is existing right now.
Yeah,
very many things can happen, can change. I have a feeling your fears are not mine.
You are a more optimistic guy about this Arsenal side, and I love that because it just brings balance to this podcast. Personally, I'm very cautious about Arsenal, like very cautious. Actually, not cautious, but afraid for Arsenal. Right? I look at this side, and the many times Europa League should have been ours to win last season. It should have been. There is no reason why you get a good result in Lisbon and come and throw it away at the Emirates. There is no reason, right? So for me, I'm still a little bit, scared. That's why I asked about those big establishments with the money. You look at PSG, their spending has gone a little bit under the radar, but they've really spent a lot of money. I think they have had 3 players above 80 million this summer.
The only worry I have about Arsenal could be someone who can convert the chances that are being created.
Yeah.
I'm not scared about Jude Bellingham. Jude is still young. He's still a young talent that is still developing. I'm not worried about Harry Kane. I don't know. Actually, it is normally a nightmare for Arsenal. Bayern Munich versus Arsenal, it is always a nightmare.
And then Kane is a nightmare of his own to Arsenal as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Niggas scored against Arsenal.
Almost each and every single time.
Exactly. But for me, I'm looking at the angle of seeing the mentality of these guys, thinking about what happened last season. It was almost at the verge of winning the trophy, and it went like that. Right now, everyone is on their neck. They feel like they should deliver. So, the demand around us, the fans, the Arsenal family, the Kroenkes, and then players themselves might be a very influential factor. And of course, the way Arteta, I like the way our manager always thinks about that particular game independently. I like it. I like it so much. So I believe with the craft of Arteta and then a few things to organize in the team. A few things. Because in the Champions League, you would not like to test.
Yeah, true.
You would not like to bring the likes of Havertz. Havertz has been there, by the way, in the Champions League. Yes, and he has a trophy.
And he scored, actually, a goal that lifted a trophy. So he may be...
One of the reasons as to why Arteta had to bring him, I think it was Champions League.
And maybe he's one for the big occasion, probably. Because when we played the Community Shield, he did disappear. He did miss chances, but he didn't disappear, actually, against Man City.
So my point is, it might be a big worry for any club, but I mean, Arsenal is now ready. It's set. If you're talking about a club that is going to disappoint you, it must not be Arsenal.
At the
right
moment.
Now. As a sure deal, I can talk about United. I can talk about any other club.
But not Arsenal.
But not Arsenal right now.
I want you to give me your best starting 11. Let's talk about the starting 11 for the UCL. Does it change from what we're playing with in the Premier League? Do we go with a second lineup, kind of tweaked a little bit, or do we go with the same Premier League 11? There are debates about Raya, Ramsdale. The debates about Trossard, Kai Havertz in UCL. The debates about players like Zinchenko, Tomiyasu. Right? It's a competition where many players are going to be looking to get some game time. So, what would be your group stage starting 11?
I don't think Arteta would like to risk to have a change, a serious change in the first team.
Huge change.
Actually, I'm worried. By the way, I'm worried for our team. These guys they will have very, very many matches compiled onto them. And, they are from international break now. We are going into Champions League and all that. But I'm not expecting Arteta to change a lot in the starting 11. Maybe Ray can come in for Ramsdale. We can have Zinchenko for Tomiyasu.
Okay.
And Trossard, because Trossard is aggressive for Kai Havertz. And Of course, we shall be seeing Martinelli giving us like a 60. Then the remaining bit will be for Fabio Vieira.
Actually, I want to ask you if this is where Fabio Vieira just comes in and...
exactly. And I like the magic. The guy is on fire right now. So I think he will help us. Martinelli will be having us 60 minutes, and then the remaining portion will be for Fabio Vieira.
And Smith Rowe, you think, probably?
he should come in.
Yes, sir.
He should come in.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes, just that our opponents, maybe the lanes, but when you think about other clubs, Odegaard should come.
Yeah, we need to go with our strongest 11.
Yeah. But maybe the dying means after finishing everything is done, like around 3-0 or 3-1. Why not? Smith Rowe can come in for Odegaard to save that energy. Yeah. But I don't expecting a serious change in the starting 11 because unless the Champions League is not that serious to Mikel Arteta, but if it is, I'm not expecting a huge change in the first starting 11.
So, guys, we're back in the UEFA Champions League. Of course, we'll be doing all the previews. Arsenal first take on PSV and Hoven. Don't worry, that game is at the Emirates Stadium, and I'll be doing the previews. I'll be doing other match reactions with Vincent, if he's available, obviously,
and the predictions.
And the predictions as well,
yes.
right? Now, we're looking at a striker. Arsenal want to move to phase 5 of the transfer window. Phase 1 was when we brought in the likes of Aaron Ramsdale, actually Thomas Partey, and Gabriel Magalhaes. Phase 2, Ramsdale, Odegaard, Benjamin White. Phase 3, we brought in Jesus, Zinchenko. Phase 4, Declan Rice, Kai Havertz. Phase 5, centre forwards. Should we look at goals? Should we look at general ability for a player as we enter phase 5?
Goals. Precisely goals.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because personally, I've said this. I went back 10 years, 10 consecutive years in the Premier League. And I looked at all the winners in those years, the winners of the Premier League. Most of the teams had a number 9. So you look at Vardy at Leicester. You look at Diego Costa at Chelsea. You look at Erling Haaland.
Man City.
You look at Salah at Liverpool. So they always have, it's only Manchester City who have done it without like this kind of 30, 20, 5 goal scorer, right? Before the arrival of Erling Haaland. And I'm like, do you think, does that hinder Arsenal's progress probably? Does that hinder our chances of winning, silverware probably before we get to phase 5?
We can have the best decorated, game.
Yeah.
Because I think we enter each and every match for Arsenal, expecting Arsenal to possess.
Yeah.
That is okay.
Sure.
Creating as many chances as possible, even if it is against Man City.
Yeah.
We try our level best.
Yeah.
The only point we have is that we will need someone who nets the chances created. It worked for Man City for some good time, and the sources were many. You had the Gundogan, by then you had the Sterling, you had De Bruyne, you had all of those guys, and they could net.
Yeah, actually, I think.
But at the end of the day,
the season where Riyad Mahrez was their top scorer before the Erling Haaland came in, and then there's a season where Raheem Sterling was the top scorer, and then there's a season where I think Gundogan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point is, you might be having all these guys, the likes of Saka contributing last time. We had the Saka,
15,
Odegaard,
15,
and Martinelli.
11.
All of them combined. But we shall need someone who can net.
20 and above.
You see, Man City also, they saw it, that it is now time for them to get a goal-scoring machine. That's why they ended up having Haaland.
Yeah.
So we need someone who can convert at the conversion rate that is convincing, yeah.
Yes. I absolutely agree with you. So let's talk about some of the names that we are considering and some of the names that I would love Arsenal to consider. We'll start off with Ivan Toney, who has been rumored to be an Arsenal target for January. I personally don't think it's going to be a January signing. I think Arsenal will start the groundwork. We have already started the groundwork, in my opinion. Just like we did with Rice. 6 months of groundwork, and then it becomes easier in the summer. Ivan Toney is a Premier League proven striker. He's done it in the Championship, and he's a huge number scorer. At times these days, it's rare to find those players. He's proven, and then he's in huge numbers, like 20-plus goal scorer. If he can score 20 at Brentford, I think there is a player in there. Do you think he's our best shot, Ivan Toney?
Ivan Toney is okay with me. He would have been okay, actually. But I'm not seeing Ivan Toney as a typical Arsenal striker. I'm not seeing him. Look at Brentford and the type of football they play. Yeah. I don't see Ivan Toney coming in Arsenal's style of play. You see, for us to expect that maybe Jesus is going to be there standing between three men and trying to hold the ball, waiting for Bukayo Saka and maybe Odegaard or Martinelli to join him.
Yeah.
I've never seen Ivan Toney doing that. Yeah. He's not a football holder. He's just a net man. That's the only problem I might be having with Ivan Toney. Otherwise, in terms of scoring goals, yeah, and then the wing play, it is not so much for Arsenal. It is really maybe the only person who brings in, and I think it's not at Arsenal right now. That was Tierney. Tierney could give it to you because
the crosses and everything,
the crosses and all that. But Ivan Toney would work partially, but I don't believe would be the best shot for Arsenal.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't take him as a best shot personally as well. I think if Arsenal had a striker like, maybe Victor Osimhen, and we had Ivan Toney as our second striker for emergencies or that kind of striker that comes into in the game when it's 1-1 and you need goals, so you need to throw on another striker, I'll take him. I love his difference from what we have. He's a little bit physical. He's a penalty buyer. He's a penalty expert. So if you're looking for one, he's only missed one in his career ever since he started taking penalties, and he's taken a lot of them. And he's also a striker that gives you that aerial ability. So at Arsenal right now, you don't have the aerial ability. You would get that from Ivan Toney. You would get numbers like kind of 20 plus. I think he's a box striker. He's a punisher. He loves to go at the back post. He's always in the middle of the goal. So whenever those chances come, those chances that Arsenal always let go begging, he would actually take them. But I don't think Arsenal would then. I don't think he would be that. I'm not really convinced about him. I don't know whether it's about the hype and whatever is happening in his life, but I would love him as a second striker. I would love to have him as a pair, Ivan Toney plus another huge striker. So let's talk about the next one, which is actually Arsenal's main target. Who actually is Arsenal's main target? And that is Evan Ferguson. Brighton, 18 years of age, a hat-trick against Newcastle last weekend. My player of the weekend as well. I love him. I absolutely do love him, and I feel he's going to be a real number 9. So one of the things I like about Evan Ferguson is he's got the ability to do whatever every striker does without sacrificing the ability to score goals, right? But he's 18. Let's start there. Do you think Arsenal need a player to groom, or we need a finished article?
It is tricky. It is tricky in a way that, one, we are looking at Arsenal that has been telling us we've been building.
We are trusting the process.
Right now,
we are trusting the process.
We feel like we can no longer wait any longer.
We are no longer in the building phase.
Yes. Yeah. We feel like young people like Gabi are now progressing. The likes of Saka, the likes of Odegaard,
Ramsdale.
Exactly. Yeah. They have started delivering. I don't know whether we have people outside there who will be waiting, holding up to someone to first fit into the squad and then start netting the goals. But for Fergie, I feel like we are not going to wait for some good period of time. It will not be that lengthy. According to the way I saw this guy playing against Newcastle, it felt like this guy was ready. For a competition.
Yeah, sure.
And unlike you who believes Toney should come as a backup, I feel like we can have Fergie, and then we have the likes of Nketiah and all that. There's
a big question coming for him.
Yes, we could have someone like maybe Eddie or Gabi. Yes, Gabi Jesus. The two one can be a backup for the other. But I don't know. I don't know whether Arsenal can drop Gabriel Jesus right now for Ferguson.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
question number one.
That's the point.
That is question number one. And would I drop Jesus for Ferguson? I would. I would absolutely do it. And the reason why I would do it is I think Evan Ferguson has got the ability to give us what Jesus gives us plus goals. I'll do it. I wouldn't swap. Listen, this is a controversial take. I wouldn't swap Jesus for Osimhen. I wouldn't swap him for Osimhen because Osimhen does not give me quarter of what Jesus gives us, and therefore it would be different. But I would swap him for Evan Ferguson.
There is something I want to show you, Cossy. See, The only problem you face with Jesus, Jesus is okay. He's injury prone. We know that.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the only time Fergie will get that time to convince us.
Yeah. And
But-
also, Jesus is a very poor finisher. So if the game is at 80 and you need a goal, we've seen time and again, Mikel takes him off and then brings on Eddie Nketiah. There's a reason why he does that.
But I feel like Jesus is more of a number 10
He is,
than
yeah.
a striker.
No
And
question
I
about
believe if we were still back in those days, like I was telling you,
And
with
Arsene
Wenger,
Yeah.
it would have the story would have been
that. Different.
very, very different.
You think Jesus is more like a Dennis Bergkamp kind of
exactly. He'll give you that one goal, but
Yeah.
it's more of giving an assist to someone to finish. So I feel like Fergie and Jesus can be on the same pitch, but it means it will cost
one player.
Yes,
Yeah.
to be off the pitch. And
Yeah.
who is that one? That's the question.
Yes, question. But there's another bigger question. Brighton value Evan Ferguson at a minimum of £100 million. That's around 113 million euros. Should we splash the cash on him? Should Arsenal blindly go, he's the future, he's not yet done it for 5-6 seasons like Hurricane or Ivan Toney, but he is the future. 100 million, there you go.
I would go for him.
100 million.
Exactly.
18 years of age.
I would go for him for two reasons.
It's a huge risk, you know. It's a huge risk.
It's a very huge one.
Yeah.
But there are two reasons as to why I could go for him.
Yeah.
One, his skills. And
yeah,
two,
okay.
the age. He's still young. He can be a project for almost more 8 seasons.
Yeah, true. Actually,
So-
10, you have 10 years there. If you sign him, you have 10 years. Unless you decide to sell,
Yes.
you have 10 years
So
there.
that's why I would go for him. And then, we've seen Pepe
Yeah.
almost disappointing everyone. I don't know whether I was really disappointed by Pepe. I wasn't.
But,
'Cause
it depends on the expectations
I
that you
did
set
not
about him.
expect a lot
Yeah,
from
depends
him.
on the expectations. you
But
set.
for Fergie, yeah, I would go for 100 million. And I
100 million.
risk-
He said he would go 100 million for Ferguson. I wouldn't. I love him. I really, really do. I think at 18, and if he scores 25 goals this season, I think I would be willing to spend like 90 million. Or even 80 million. 100 million for an 18-year-old is huge money. Like, huge money.
I've seen. How old was Kylian Mbappe at the time?
I think by that time, because he's 23 now,
Yeah.
he's spent like 5 seasons. So he was around 18 as well. 18, 17.
And how much did he cost?
Upwards of 150 million.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. If you want class, leave alone Manchester City was very lucky to get Alan that cheaply.
Yeah. And
Right
Julian
now-
Alvarez as well.
Yes. So if you want class right now, the one I'm seeing Ferguson, because I'm looking at Ferguson, who is going to change the next 2 seasons into a goal machine. I feel like it is not a lot of money for him because he's someone who can go for up to 150 or plus. So I feel like Fergie would work for me more than other options. And then you have either Jesus or Nketiah as a backup, or you could drop one of the guys on the pitch and then you have Jesus playing as number 10 and then Fergie leading the line. Simple.
Victor Osimhen is another option, guys. Victor Osimhen is another option. The other one I won't talk about, I'll talk about, probably when we do the list of strikers that, Arsenal will be looking at is, Giacomo Raspadori. But I like Victor Osimhen. And why I like Victor Osimhen is he is made of goals. So I've seen him in the Italian Serie A score every kind of goal a typical forward has got to score. Tight spots, spinning in behind, running off the shoulder, difficult headers, easy goals. Actually, it's one of the reasons I like about him is he made Kavica Kvaratskhelia a top creator last campaign. He scored the easy goals, the top-ins. He's always there, right? Arsenal missed that. We don't have that guy that can guarantee you 10 easy goals every season. I think apart from Odegaard, who literally is always there and will tap it in, we don't have that striker. But my problem with Victor Osimhen is he doesn't provide the extracurricular pressing and, running around of Gabriel Jesus. He's also, according to Aurelio De Laurentiis, the president at Napoli, he's not for sale for anything below 150 million. An offer came in from Saudi Arabia, it was below that, and it was turned down.
Okay, I know you love Osman because we've been interacting.
Yeah.
So I know that,
Yeah.
and I know you would be very excited if he joined Arsenal. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't be. Wait. You're the only person on this planet that wouldn't take Victor Osimhen in their team. I'm telling you that out of 7 billion or 8 billion people on this planet, you're the only person.
I'd leave him for 2 reasons.
One.
The first reason is a switch.
Okay.
Italy we are talking about today is no longer the Italy of those days.
True. The Catenaccio has watered down.
It is no longer intense the way it used to be.
Sure.
Right now, I'm not thinking about, all people, just look at all clubs that has been buying those expensive players from outside the Premier League and the way these guys have failed to transform into what they thought. The only benefit Arsenal has with the likes of Rice that are expensive but trying to deliver is that guy has been switching from a Premier League club
to another
Premier League club. We've seen the likes of I would use Jadon Sancho.
Yeah. From Borussia Dortmund
to United. You've seen the likes of Timo Werner.
Yeah, that was he a bad signing? Was he such a bad signing? Because I wanted him at Arsenal. I really did.
It was not bad, though it was not that perfect signing for the club.
It just didn't
Chelsea.
work. It just didn't work.
For Chelsea, it was not perfect. Because, the type of forwards Chelsea have been having.
Yeah.
Drogba,
Costa.
Diego Costa.
Yeah.
Then back then they had this black guy who was called, I'm forgetting. Was it Carlo or something? I'm forgetting the name. But you see, the type of their forwards, they are always those energetic fighting bulls on the pitch. And you brought the luxurious one who was enjoying in diving and all that. So it was more of an off switch for Chelsea.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But I've been just showing you an example of guys that have come very hyped into Premier League. And all of a sudden...
Do you think Osimhen has this kind of, hype on him?
I think it would have been worse if he was in a Premier League. It would have been worse with English media and all that. But those are the only backgrounds as to why I would not like Arsenal to spend over 120 plus millions on Osimhen. Because guy is not proven. You tell me Haaland was not. Haaland is playing for for Pep Guardiola. We have only one Pep Guardiola on this planet. This guy, of course, I've seen him also making mistakes in his buys and having those panicky buys. But there are not so many like other coaches. So I believe it is better and wiser to take someone who has tested the league. That's why I would go for Fergie other than him.
Other than Victor Osimhen.
Exactly. Because I believe this guy has tested the challenge and he knows if you're going to sharpen some things, you'll be teaching a youngster and then who has tested.
Yeah, and probably he by the time you bring him in, he's played almost against each and every defender in the league. Exactly. So he knows the dynamics of each and every defender.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's why I would leave Osimhen for Fergie. And I would not like to spend over 120 plus millions on him. Let him go to Saudi Arabia or any other. Okay.
Would you be scared if Osimhen signs for Chelsea? Just say yes or no.
No.
My preferred option, which is actually very hyper realistic, is Julian Alvarez, Manchester City. I love him. I think he's not a physical player, but he's quite an intelligent player. Very intelligent as a striker. And I look at him as a potential replacement of Kun Aguero in the future. Or the worst he can become is the current version of Lautaro Martinez. That is how much I rate him as a player.
But I'm not seeing City leaving him.
Oh, it's like I said, it's hyper reality. It's virtual. It's really virtual. It's
I've tried to follow him. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I like the way he engages in the play and all that. But I'm not seeing really. I don't want to discuss him because I know it is something that is hard to see.
True.
To see that City is going to wake up one day and sell for that talent. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
So
But I think if Arsenal could got a player like Julian Alvarez, he's got that ability. He's got that goal scoring ability, and I can see him at a club like Real Madrid someday. He's got that goal scoring ability, and then he's got so much to his game. I think he's the perfect replacement of Gabriel Jesus. He's played at right wing. He's played at left wing. He's played behind Erling Haaland. He's literally played as a number 9 for Argentina ahead of Lautaro Martinez at the World Cup. I was very shocked that the World Cup didn't consider him for Young Player of the Tournament because I felt he was so good, right? He was very good.
the only thing I'll be scared about him is that the club. Precisely the club. Man City right now, they cannot risk to give you such an asset. Arsenal became a direct opponent. Arsenal is a rival to Man City.
We are limiting. This summer alone, they've refused to give us Cancelo. They've also refused to give us Aymeric Laporte as well. So it shows that there is a real boundary. The bridge has been cut down.
Depending on what happened last season and the way you saw Arsenal almost taking the trophy from Man City, I don't think right now Man City can risk to have any substantial signing coming directly from Manchester to London. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
Well, guys, there you have it. We've discussed all about Arsenal. And of course, you can join us in the comment section below. We are always talking Arsenal on this channel. Of course, the big talking points in this one, Arsenal need a striker in phase 5 who is the preferred option. He's just turned down Victor Osimhen. He's the only guy to turn down Victor Osimhen to his club. Like, even Bayern thought about him, but it was the price that actually cut them off. We've also talked about Kai Havertz, Leandro Trossard and Emil Smith-Rowe, who starts ahead of the other, and the preview to the UEFA Champions League. You can join us in the comment box below to find out and give your reaction to all those topics, and we'll speak to you right in the next one. We say bye-bye.